Story 1. I moved into the building because it was quiet. A mid-rise just outside of town, the kind of place where most tenants were older, retired. You'd hear the occasional laugh through the walls, the shuffle of slippers down the hallway. Nothing more. Apartment 3B had been empty for months. I passed it every day, keys already in hand, barely glancing at the dark peephole on the metal door. It was just another unit. Then someone moved in. I didn't see a truck. No movers. Just a faint scuff across the floor one morning, right outside 3B, a long mark, like something heavy had been dragged in. That night I caught it, the smell. Not strong, but stale. Like wet plaster and something just beneath it, like metal left too long in rain. It came and went. I tried to tell myself it was nothing. New tenants meant new habits. Maybe someone who smoked inside or cooked with strange spices. But over time, I realized I never heard anything from 3B. No TV. No running water. Not even the clink of dishes. Every other unit had some trace of life. 3B was hollow. Once I left for work and caught the hallway light flicker as I locked my door. Not unusual. Except when I turned, the door to 3B was open, just a crack. I stared. No one came out. No sound. I waited. Nothing. I stepped closer, just enough to peek through. No lights. Just a narrow view into a bare hallway with a single chair facing the wall, like it had been placed there to punish someone. Then the door closed. No wind, no draft, just slow, steady movement until it clicked shut. I didn't sleep well after that. I started noticing changes inside my own unit. Nothing major at first. One of the dining chairs pulled slightly out, though I lived alone. A faint set of shoe prints near the entry mat, smaller than mine, pointed in. I stopped using the peephole. Something about it felt wrong, like someone else was looking through from the other side. A few days later, a neighbor across the hall, Mrs. Angel, knocked on my door. She had a dog, Benny, friendly little terrier, always wagging. That morning, he growled at 3B's door until his throat gave out. She asked if I'd seen anyone go in. I told her no. We both stared at the door, then dropped it. That night, Benny barked for 2 hours straight. The next morning, Mrs. Angel was gone. Her apartment door was wide open. Nothing inside. Furniture still there, but no signs of her. Her mail piled up. Benny's leash still on the hook. No one said anything. I asked around. The super shrugged. People move. But the building felt quieter after that. Heavy, like it was holding its breath. 3 nights ago, I came home late. The hallway was darker than usual. As I passed 3B, I noticed something under the door, a photo. It was old, grainy, curled at the corners. It showed the hallway. This hallway. The angle was slightly tilted, like it had been taken low to the ground. And in the photo, there was a man standing outside my door. His head was turned toward the camera. And his eyes, they weren't looking at whoever took the picture. They were looking at me. I live on the 10th floor now. Rented a different unit, 2 buildings over. I don't take elevators. I avoid hallways that don't have windows. I haven't told anyone what I saw the next morning. My old apartment, door wide open. Every drawer in the kitchen pulled out. The chair from my table, facing the wall, just like the one in 3B. Story 2. When I moved into the duplex, the guy next door already lived there. Mid-40s, wore the same blue hoodie every day, kept to himself. He didn't make noise, didn't cause trouble, and never looked anyone in the eye. Ideal neighbor, really. The only odd thing, he never used the front door. I'd catch glimpses of him slipping around back, even to check the mailbox. Once, I watched from my kitchen window as he left in the middle of the night, barefoot, carrying a trash bag over his shoulder. No lights came on. No car. I didn't think much of it at first. People are strange. I was just trying to keep to myself, get through a breakup, figure out my life. The duplex was cheap, and the walls were thick. Mostly. But about a month in, I started hearing noises. Nothing loud, just soft, dragging sounds across the floor next door. Sometimes rhythmic tapping. Always around 2 or 3 a.m., I figured he was moving furniture or pacing. Whatever. Then one night, I was in bed scrolling my phone when something thudded against the shared wall. Not hard, just a dull bump. I waited. Then it came again. Same spot. 5 seconds apart, over and over. No footsteps. No creaking. Just those slow, even bumps. I didn't get up. I just lay there still until it stopped. The next morning, I went out to grab coffee. As I was walking past his side of the porch, I saw the mailbox still stuffed with flyers from the week before. A brown envelope poked out with * final notice in red on the front. I figured maybe he was on vacation, but I just heard him the night before. A week later, my kitchen started to smell. It wasn't strong, more like something faint caught in the air, almost metallic. I cleaned the drains, took out the trash. It didn't help. It stayed in that one corner by the wall we shared. It wasn't constant, just came and went like it had its own routine. That night, the bumps came back. Same time, same rhythm. I sat on the edge of my bed and watched the wall like it might open up. The sound didn't get louder, just more present, like it was aware I was listening. The next morning, I knocked on his door. Nothing. I tried again. No sound inside. I went around back. There was no back door. Just a wall. No windows either. Just warped siding and vines, choking the side like it hadn't been touched in years. I went to the leasing office that afternoon. Asked about the guy in Unit B. The woman behind the desk paused. Her eyes shifted like she was trying to figure out what I already knew. No one rented that unit in almost a year, she said. I stared at her, waiting. She didn't laugh, didn't smile. I told her about the noises, the blue hoodie, the trash bag. She checked the records, showed me the log. The last tenant moved out 10 months ago, left everything behind. The place was never cleared out. They didn't even have a key. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up in the living room, every light on, staring at the wall. At 2:43 a.m., something thumped. Closer to the floor this time, like it had dropped low. The smell came back, thick and sudden, pouring into the room in waves. The drywall near the baseboard cracked. I didn't run. I didn't scream. I just stood there, frozen, as a pale hand pushed its way out from the wall, slow, rigid fingers dragging against the hardwood. There was no sound, just the gentle creak of nails carving lines into the floor as it reached for my asterisk side. Story 3. When I signed the lease on the second floor apartment, I was told the unit below was empty. Had been for months. The building was old, scuffed stairs, cracked tiles, doors that didn't close quite right, but the rent was cheap, and it was close to work. For the first few nights, everything was quiet. Then I started hearing footsteps. Not loud, but steady, back and forth. Around 1 a.m., always starting in the far corner of the apartment below mine. They'd move toward the middle of the floor, stop, then return. I didn't think much of it. Maybe someone had moved in and the office forgot to update the records. A few days later, I went downstairs to check. No doormat, no shoes, no curtain in the window. I pressed my ear to the door. Nothing, not even a hum from a fridge. That night, the walking started again. Same time, same slow pace. The next morning, I asked the building manager if someone had moved into Unit 102. Nope, he said, still vacant. I almost laughed. Maybe the sound carried weird through the walls, old building and all. But the pattern never changed, always the same route, same time. Then came the dragging. Not furniture, not anything heavy. Just a light pull across the floor like something soft being towed across linoleum. It didn't sound clumsy, it was careful, measured. Like whatever it was, it knew I was listening. I knocked on the door again. Still nothing. This time I left a note. If you're down here, can you keep it down at night? Thanks. The note was still there the next day. Same spot, unfolded, not even touched. That night I couldn't sleep. Around 1:07, the dragging started again. Slower this time. Then came the soft sound of something tapping, barely there, against the ceiling, against my asterisk floor. I didn't move. I just lay still and stared at the wall. The tapping shifted, closer to my bed. Then it stopped. A few minutes later, I heard it again. Inside the apartment. Just one knock, low, near the baseboard, like someone was under the bed, pressing up from the floor. I didn't look. I didn't breathe. I waited until morning, then packed a bag and left. I stayed with my sister for a few days and came back during the afternoon to grab the rest of my stuff. Sunlight made everything feel stupid, irrational, until I saw the stain. Just a faint outline near the foot of my bed, on the floorboards. Circular, damp, about the size of a face pressed flat. The apartment below still hasn't been rented. The manager says there's something wrong with the subflooring, humidity, maybe mold. He keeps scraping and repainting, but the marks keep coming back. Same spot every time.